few weeks ago, I created a video discussing the 1/3 of stars of heaven being thrown to the ground, referring to the Israelites and not angels. You can find a link to the video in the description. In that video, I read Revelation chapter 12 verse 1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. In that video, I discussed the 1/3 of stars being Israel. I received a comment on the video mentioning that I didn't touch on the subject of the red dragon. While I explained that the woman clothed with the sun and the moon represents the Israelites, with the 12 stars symbolizing the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 1/3 of stars being thrown to the ground signifying their descent into slavery, I did not specifically address the dragon. The reason for the omission is sometimes providing too much information in one video can make it excessively long. I prefer to keep the videos under about 15 minutes. Although some may argue that even 15 minutes is too long. So to give a quick overview over which verses should be connected, let's start by reading Revelation chapter 12 verse 4. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And I connected that with Ezekiel chapter 5 verse 2. Thou shalt burn with a fire a third part in the midst of the city. And when the days of the siege are fulfilled, thou shalt take a third part and smite about it with a knife, and a third part shalt thou scatter into the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them. And you combine that with Daniel chapter 7 verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. And also Revelation chapter 13 verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And also Revelation chapter 11 verse 7, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that comes out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. These are all the verses that you will need if you want to understand that the 1/3 are not angels but the children of Israel. Also, I've heard Hebrew Israelites talking about the 1/3 of Israel being saved, but that number is completely overstated. 1/3 of Israel isn't going anywhere. This 1/3 number is just the number of people who went into captivity. 2/3 were killed. How these verses are all connected. You combine Revelation chapter 12, it says 1/3 of the stars were cast to the earth. And you combine that with Ezekiel chapter 5 when it says, 1/3 shall be scattered into the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them. Daniel says, he shall speak words against the Most High, and wear out the saints of the Most High. Wearing out the saints of the Most High, and they will be given into his hand. That's the same as the sword being drawn out in Ezekiel. And then you combine that with chapter 13, it says they will make war against the saints and overcome them. So when you say overcome them, that's the same as in Daniel when it says they will be given into his hand. These are all interrelated, different books and different people talking about the same thing. And then you combine that with Revelation chapter 11, talking about the 2 witnesses. Once they finish their testimony, the beast will make war against them and kill them. That's all the same thing. Whether overcome them, given into his hand, draw out a sword after them, these are all the same thing. It's important to understand that the 2 witnesses represent Israel, much like the woman clothed with the sun and the moon. I know people are just hoping for 2 witnesses to come down and do some miracles, but that's not going to happen. All 5 verses, and there are more, indicate that Israel will endure challenging and impoverished conditions until Yeshua's return. The comment raised a valid question. Who exactly is represented by the dragon? Or to put it differently, who are the individuals responsible for oppressing the children of Israel? So to find the answers, let's go into the same chapters, Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation, and let's make or establish connections. It's important to remember, that reading the Bible as a whole is crucial before we can apply the concept of precept upon precept. Without a total understanding of the entire Bible, it's almost impossible to do precept upon precept. How do you know which verses are you combining and whether they are all connected? It's important to read the whole thing. I encourage everyone to do so. So now to the red dragon. So let's start by reading Revelation chapter 12 verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Revelation 12, 3 and 4 describe a vision of a red dragon in heaven, a central figure in this apocalyptic narrative. The dragon is shown as having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on its head, symbolizing immense power and authority. Now we combine that with Revelation chapter 13 verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear, as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. In Revelation chapter 13, 1 and 2, it presents a vision of this beast coming out of the sea. The beast has 7 heads and 10 horns, each horn bearing a crown, and each head inscribed with the name of blasphemy. This description symbolizes immense power and authority, and the blasphemous name suggests he is completely in opposition to the Most High. And we can also now combine that with Daniel chapter 7 verse 1 to get this full understanding of this dragon. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions upon his head, and he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven drove upon the great sea, and the 4 beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. So we skip to verse 7. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. It had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with its feet. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Let's jump down to verse 20. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Daniel chapter 7 describes a series of prophetic visions experienced by Daniel. In the first year of King Belshazzar, reign in Babylon, Daniel has a dream and visions while he was asleep. He then writes down this dream and summarizes its contents. In this vision, Daniel sees 4 winds stirring on the great sea, and 4 unique beasts which emerge, each different from the other. The 4th beast is particularly unique. It described as dreadful and terrible and extremely strong, with large iron teeth. This beast devours, crushes, and tramples what remains under its feet. It is distinct from all the previous beasts, and is noted for having 10 horns. These visions are symbols and should be interpreted as prophecies regarding the rise and the fall of empires. Each beast represents a kingdom that will rise and then fall. So now, let's connect all these verses, Revelation chapter 12 with Revelation chapter 13 and with Daniel chapter 7. All 3 say this beast has 10 horns. Revelation chapter 12 and 13 all agree that the beast has 7 heads. So we already know we're talking about the same thing. The 4th beast in Daniel, the red dragon in 12, and the beast in chapter 13 are the same entity. And then we combine Revelation 13 and Daniel show the vision of the beast rising out of the sea. So kingdoms are all rising out of the sea. Revelation 13 and Daniel are the same beast. All 3 accounts are the same. We know from Daniel that these beasts represent kingdoms. Daniel chapter 7 verse 17. These great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. If the first beast was Babylon, represented by Nebuchadnezzar, his sons, and the people of Babylon. The second beast was represented by the Persian Mede people, Cyrus, Darius, Artaxerxes, etc. The third beast or empire was ruled by Alexander and the Greeks. When we get to the 4th beast, We cannot expect it to be some spiritual entity or dragon. It must be like the other three beasts or other three kingdoms, which is a family or a bloodline. It's not that big of a jump. It should be easy to understand. So now we should be looking for a bloodline or a people. How do we find this bloodline or people? Let's start with 2 Esdras chapter 11 verse 1. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. Jump to 2 Esdras chapter 12 verse 11. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him. Therefore I declare it or tell it to you. In 2 Esdras chapter 11 verse 1 and Esdras chapter 12, 11 and 12, Esdras has a dream in which an eagle with 12 wings and 3 heads emerged from the sea. This eagle is identified as representing a kingdom similar to the one seen in the vision by Daniel. Though the vision was not fully explained to Daniel, the eagle is generally interpreted as a metaphor for a powerful empire or a series of rulers with wings and heads symbolizing specific aspects of its rule or phases of its history. But the fourth beast was not told to Daniel, but it was told to Esdras. And we find out that it was an eagle that Daniel saw, even though the beast was not told to him. We know the beast is an eagle. So now let's read Obadiah chapter 1 verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Most High concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Most High. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And now jump to verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, from there will I bring thee down, says the Most High. When it says exalts himself as an eagle, it's explaining that the children of Esau see themselves or identify themselves as an eagle. This already is a connection to the fourth beast that we know that is the children of Edom, but we need more evidence. We have to keep on going. So let's read Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Most High of hosts, his wisdom no more in Teman, his counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished. For connection's sake, let's jump down to verse 19. Behold, he shall come up from a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Jeremiah 49 serves as a prophetic judgment against Edom or the children of Esau, critiquing the loss of wisdom and highlighting Elohim's supreme power over any invading forces and rulers. The imagery and rhetorical question emphasizes the futility of opposing the Most High. It's silly to oppose him, and the ultimate dominion of Elohim over all nations. To understand what we're trying to go, let's also read Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 1. The word that the Most High spake against Babylon and the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Verse 44. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. Who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Verses Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1 and 44 show a prophecy of judgment against Babylon, using powerful imagery and rhetoric to emphasize Elohim's supreme authority and inevitability over Babylon's downfall. This message serves as a reassurance of Elohim's control and a warning of the consequences of opposing his will. When you combine all these verses, it becomes evident that the Edomites, who are the descendants of Esau, believe themselves to be represented by the eagle. Furthermore, when you consider the prophecy regarding the destruction of Edom in chapter 49 of Jeremiah, parallels the prophecy of the destruction of Babylon written about in chapter 50 of Jeremiah. It becomes clear that the fourth and final kingdom is symbolized as a red dragon or an eagle, which signifies Babylon or the lineage of Esau. It's evident that this fourth beast is the bloodline of Esau. So now let's just close the Bible. I hate closing the Bible, but for now, let's close the Bible and see if we can find this dragon or these people that will be oppressing the children of Israel. When we look for this bloodline, we should not look at color. Relying on skin color as a criterion is an oversimplified approach to overcoming the truth. Instead, we should identify the bloodlines of the people who are in charge and wield influence, as it involves a specific group of individuals and not a spiritual entity. We should look for a bloodline, not color. Not every color belongs to a bloodline. That's ridiculous. So here is one example. Prince Charles' coat of arms is rich in symbolism and historical connections, reflecting a long-standing tradition and heritage of the British monarchy. One of the key elements in his coat of arms is a representation of the Holy Roman Empire. It signifies a claimed lineage, specific connection to this significant historical entity. The coat of arms features a double-headed eagle, a prominent symbol of the Holy Roman Empire, representing the dominion over the Kingdom of Germany and Italy. In addition to the double-headed eagle, the coat of arms of this family includes imperial symbols such as an imperial crown, and an orb and a scepter meaning rulership. A striking feature in Prince Charles' crest is the red dragon. This symbol holds a deep resonance with its family and heritage. It emphasizes a strong connection to their ancestral roots. It serves as a reminder of the family's long-standing lineage and their connection to the historical narratives and legends. The use of the symbols from the Holy Roman Empire, despite it being dissolved in 1806, highlights the British monarchy's effort to link itself to its past grandeur and imperial traditions. This continuity of symbols into the modern times illustrate how these historic emblems and icons are linked to their legacy and lineage, their bloodline. In summary, Prince Charles' coat of arms is a symbolic tapestry that weaves together elements from the Holy Roman Empire and his family heritage, his family bloodline, representing notably by the inclusion of the red dragon and two-headed eagle, which we now know as symbols of the fourth beast, written about in the book of Revelation, Esdras, and Daniel. To sum this all up, the red dragon refers to a bloodline, not just Prince Charles and his people, but it's a whole entire bloodline that runs the earth. It is a bloodline and not a spiritual entity. This bloodline is responsible for causing suffering and impoverishment of the descendants of the children of Israel. But it's an important note that this family is not the problem of the children of Israel. The children of Israel are their own problem. Their division has occurred because they transgressed the Most High's commandments. The Most High, as punishment, has now put them in subjection to the children of Esau, or the red dragon, or the eagle. In other words, we can't blame other people for our own predicament. It is for the Most High to now deliver us. The scriptures say that they will be given into his hands for a time and a half. It's important for us to be patient and wait and hope that the Most High will eventually save us while we're still here. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.